Hi, good afternoon. My task this afternoon is to rattle through some of the legal considerations that attach to any moves towards the deaccessioning of an item from a collection. Now, trustees considering a disposal from a collection must, in my mind, contemplate three key questions. Why do we have it? What I dub the curatorial question. Can we dispose of it, which is the legal question, and should we dispose of it, the ethical question. Now, to me, that's the logical order of inquiry, and perhaps some attempts at deaccessioning fail simply because the should question is posed and purportedly answered long before the can question. As demonstrated by the British Museum case that Edward and I cite in our article, a compelling moral case is not usually of itself able to overcome an effective legal bar to deaccessioning. Nor actually is the should question only about morals and ethics. Charity trustees are duty-bound when considering a disposal to consider all factors relevant to their institution's welfare, its finances, its reputation, its capacity to attract new donations, the consequences of de-accreditation, and so on. Four high-level sort of legal policy issues that I would expect to see addressed in any exploration of this subject, any new solutions, if people think new solutions are needed. First, discretion. If I'm a trustee of an institution, I'm duty-bound to act exclusively in that institution's best interests. It's for me to decide how best to promote the charitable objective of that institution. Yet we have a legal system which allows one or both my hands to be tied behind my back on this subject. Is this sensible? And if so, just how much hand tying should be allowed? Secondly, evolution. Things change. If an inhibition on disposal exists, for how long should it be allowed to persist? Third, forum. If an inhibition is to be lifted, who's best placed to decide whether it should be lifted or not? Parliament, courts, a specialist body, and so on. Last but not least, we have to recognise that, to some extent, this is now, as we've already heard this afternoon, an international stage. With UK charity tax release now extended into Europe institutions, will demanding donors' jurisdiction shop decide which public collections, in which legal regime, will their views best be respected on deaccessioning? And with those rather big picture issues in mind, time for me to hand over to the US experience. Thank you.